crash with uranium on it or not. What we do know is there's a whole load of evidence that points that it might have occurred. And we'll never find out unless we have proper freedom of information. Because at this point, whose interest does secrecy work in?
The Ministry of Defence said there was no nuclear weapon involved in the 1958 fire, and subsequent studies have not replicated the results of the original study. If those measurements were reliable, the presence of uranium in 1961 still remains unexplained.
Welcome to the most polluted house in Britain. In the garden here of this house, actually the radiation levels are way above those that they should be. Now, government agencies insist that these levels are nothing to be concerned about and actually aren't a threat to public health and safety. However, it has been a threat to the person who actually lives here.
Basically, I've had just terrible problems with my bone marrow, liver, kidneys, just the body's been completely bloody attacked from the inside.
What is the matter with Ray?
At the moment, he has symptoms and effects of radiological poisoning, meaning nuclear material.
Ray, what are the guys doing here at the moment?
What they're doing, they're taking core samples from the ground now to honestly analyse of what could be in the ground. The insurance company are paying for this.
So the insurance company are paying for boreholes to test for the toxicity of the site?
The site, yes, before they embark on trying to repair the damage to the house, if they ever could.
There was a Shell oil depot behind Ray's house, which in 1990 was developed for housing. Not surprisingly, the developers didn't test for radioactive substances. Since Ray became ill, an independent environmental consultant tested soil samples from Ray's property, which gave some of the highest levels of plutonium and uranium contamination recorded in Britain.
The clincher is the uranium. So although you've got 50 times more plutonium than you should have, the uranium isotopes are such that that footprint is only from a nuclear reactor. You couldn't get any uranium in nature with that ratio of those two isotopes outside of a nuclear reactor.
Shell have said that no nuclear material was ever stored or processed on their site. The Ministry of Defence also deny that they have ever used the area. But plutonium doesn't just appear from nowhere.
That came from a nuclear reactor. Now, that doesn't mean that there's a nuclear reactor at the bottom of the garden, but it certainly means that that stuff came from a nuclear reactor, and you have to ask, well, why is it here in this little suburb of Reading? It could have been brought by rail, but anyway, why would it be? Well, I wouldn't know. I mean, I wouldn't know why there would be a nuclear reactor here, to be honest, but that's one possibility.
This is RF Bryson Ordnance from here. That Britain's nuclear equipment is... Hi, hello there. Hi, I'm Mark Thomas, Channel 4, how are you?
Hi, not too bad, thanks. Just wondering if you have permission to film?
No.
No.
No, not at all. It's just we're on a public highway, so we thought that's all right.
Sure, OK, I'll leave it at that for the moment then.
I've got to say, the RF police kit is very, very shoddy. They look like old second-hand Harringtons that have got a couple of stripes put on them. Anyway, here I am at RF Bryson Ordnance, and this is where Britain's nuclear deterrent is put onto planes, flown out to America. The amazing thing is, as soon as it gets to the easterly point of American seaboard, the plane touches down and the nuclear materials is unloaded and transported by lorry and car and stuff on land, because in America it's illegal to transport nuclear materials over civilian areas by plane because they are safety conscious. In Britain it's not illegal. We take off the planes here, they fly over Swindon and Bristol and parts of South Wales, and the Ministry of Defence say it's fine because these containers that the nuclear materials are in are drop tested from heights of up to 9 metres. So as long as the plane's at 30 feet, we're fine.
The alarm sounds used by BNFL on the Sellafield site.
Now, if you happen to live near the Sellafield nuclear complex, here's a useful tip. This BNFL phone number puts you through to a recorded announcement that plays all the different safety alarms.
Criticality alarm.
Now, the criticality alarm sound is whoop, whoop, whoop.
Local airborne contamination alarm.
Local radioactivity in the air is nee-noo, nee-noo, nee-noo.
That was the local...
So listen out, and if you hear any of the alarm sounds, just run.
Here's a useful tip if you want the power to intercept people's emails and internet communications. Why not spend £25 million of taxpayers' money building yourself a national technical assistance centre here inside MI5's headquarters? That way you can have permanent links to black boxes at every internet service provider in the country, making it easy to intercept almost anything that passes across the web.
We don't just have state secrets here in Britain, we have a state of secrecy. This leads not just to the absurdities that we've shown you earlier, but to genuine secrets, which I hope to be showing you later on. I'll also be talking to a Rear Admiral and a spy, but first, here's Whitehall's secret tunnels. This is a ventilation shaft for a part of the Whitehall tunnel system. It runs north to south of Whitehall. It's used by the MOD and by government. Now, this bit here is the top bit of the underground citadel. This is kind of like the cap of the citadel. It might give it away by the fact that, well, you can't really get in there. It also runs along here, along to Buckingham Palace, allegedly, and the Queen can scuttle down to the nuclear bunker should it all kick off. This is the Treasury, and under the ground here is a 6-acre citadel which links up and is part of the Whitehall tunnel complex. Now, you can actually see a bit of it if you buy a ticket and go here, which is the Cabinet War Rooms, which in fact is part of the underground citadel. Now, I know some of you go, Mark, this is so irresponsible because you're now giving away our secrets to these Al-Qaeda ninjas. Well, the trouble is with secrets is this isn't really a secret. The real secrets are actually paid for by us, and this is why. Last year, Labour actually said they wanted to redo the whole tunnel network. Why? I'm not sure. Some kind of new IKEA catalogue / kind of changing room thing they wanted to get going down there. The MP said, how much is it costing? What's going on? Why do you need it? The government said, you can't find out. It's secret. Now, the problem with this is we pay. In 1994, they actually found out that Margaret Thatcher's brand spanking new nuclear bunker here at the Ministry of Defence building ran to an 80 million quid overspend. It should have been 50 million. It came out 130 million. 80 million quid borne by the taxpayer. Trouble with secrecy of this kind is it tends to cost us the money.
If you're a company director and you're looking for competitive advantage, here's a useful tip for you. Ask the British government if your business is important to Britain's economic interests. If they say yes, you can set up a security liaison office, and that'll give you access to MI6, Britain's Overseas Intelligence Service. They then will give you their secret, confidential reports, which in turn will give you information on the security and political risks of entering a foreign territory. You can use them for your own internal distribution, rewrite them, but most important, it'll give you useful inside information on your competitors.
Here's a trick if you want to write secret messages just like MI6 do. Take a Pentel pen and write your message. Take a plain sheet of paper, place it over. Press down. Remove the paper, destroy the original message. Take your secret fluid pen and write over. All is revealed.
Outside the film festival, Cannes is the moderately pleasant home to the Euro yuppie. It's also home to Richard Tomlinson, an ex-MI6 agent. We've had to come here to talk to him because he can't come to Britain or he'll be arrested. We've come here to talk to him about one thing, which is MI6 involvement in commercial espionage.